Aibuan, Vanakkam, Assalamu alaikum. Very good morning, my dear colleagues. I think we have had a wonderful presentation so far. And as we all know, none of this is possible if not for Mr. and Mrs. Grero coming together 30 years ago and making all of this possible, and also giving me this privilege of serving every single one of you and being responsible in some sort of way for your lives. Today, I believe, is not about how we have, succeeded or how far we have come, but celebrating the lives of the people who have taken Lyceum. I wouldn't say a notch above, but a great way forward. So let me celebrate the lives of those people today and begin my words taking you back to 2010 when my career began at Lyceum. So when we started at Lyceum just after university, was involved in some teaching, but not really involved. There was a very skinny member in the office and very අපි කිව්වොත් නිකන් කඩියෙක් වගේ හෙට යනවා දුවනවා බොහොම කඩිසරයි. And that was a person who has joined before me, none other than Mr. Kushan. He was just an IT assistant at that point in time. I don't know, probably would have been about 19 or 18 years old. You were a product of the Mohanlal Grero Foundation. And, so he was running about doing his thing. And then I also started working and, I wasn't very involved. I was just messing around. I was, 21 years old, 22, going on 22 in 2010. And I'll just keep it very short. So I took him to work with me and we started working. Still not very serious, but involved in sports and doing the things that I liked, getting involved in all these events and so on. And then there was another gentleman who came into work. That was in 2011. It was none other than Mr. Samir, who came in as a PTI. Some of you may be shocked to hear this because you don't know these stories. No qualifications, nothing. They walked in. And I wasn't very familiar with this person, but I was in and about in the school. So I saw him. He had come for the interview. And then on his way out, I met him. And I asked, what happened? I said, දැනුම් දෙන්නම් කියලා කිව්වා sir කියලා කිව්වා. So then he went and we called him back and he started working. There was no vacancy as such, but he started working in general as a physical education instructor. And as I was going around, as you all know about the NCG part of companies, so I was very much involved in that even during my university life, during the last stages of my school life. I was traveling around the country. This was a pastime even during the day, just enjoying. And then my father saw that I was going around here and there and enjoying myself a bit too much. And he decided, he called and said, Puta, me nuwareliya iskolayak tiyenawa. I'm going to acquire this school and you have to manage this. All right? And I also didn't care that I didn't realize the responsibility that was going to be bestowed. Who cares? That was the attitude. You can imagine, 22 years, not a care in this world. Right, go ahead, no problem, I'll do it. So then I decided, so we went there. I was looking through the pictures, but I couldn't download it. And I'll tell you this story in detail on another day. But then Mr. Kushan and Mr. Samir were the two people that went with me to Nuwara Eliya. It's 2011, 2012, in that area. We were given a school, an amazing school. I must say, it wasn't a posh school. It was a rundown school, but the people in that school, the children in that school were like none other. They loved that school more than any child in any prominent school loves their school. You can imagine what I'm saying? You know, as a certain whatever ist or Mian or whatever would love their school. This is something I know because I have so many friends in all these prominent schools. I know how much they love their schools. But I have never seen something like this in my life at that point in time. They wore their uniform. Lyceum was the school. We owned that school, but they owned their uniform. They wore their uniform to school. I don't know, for some odd reason, we had the wisdom at that time not to change this. As proud and cocky as we were at that time, we were humble enough to understand this, and we allowed them, okay, if you want, you come in your previous school uniform to school. Those of you who are new admissions, you can wear the Lyceum uniform. Whenever you're ready, you wear the Lyceum uniform. No stress. Time went by, and we were very dedicated to sports, discipline. We thought we could do anything. We did anything and everything at that point in time. I'm talking about these people. We went there, we didn't have a place to stay. For you to understand how privileged you are. We didn't have a place to stay. We went there, we put the tables we drew the tables together. We slept on those tables. We didn't have a truck to transport the chairs from Colombo to Nuwara. So I have the picture still. I took those pictures knowing that one day these will come in handy. We took a bus. We removed all the seats in that bus. We removed the rear windscreen and we loaded all the chairs into that. Then there was a lawn to be grown. We did it together, just us and a few others. Very few laborers. There were only 5 laborers, isn't it, Mr. Kushan? Only 5. 4 or 5. From driving the bus or whatever, to mowing the lawn, to making the lawn. There was a rundown ground. There was no ground for these children to play. So we decided to make this ground. And then we had to bring this grass. Loku sir was very adamant that we bring specification of grass from Colombo. So we had no choice. We couldn't get any grass from over there. So we used this bus to transport the grass as well from Colombo over 6 journeys. And then we laid the entire, the ground as well. And I remember how these men, young men at the time, there was no hot water. Hot water came in later. All of us got fever. It didn't really matter because we kept on going. And every day we started sports and we were wondering, what are we going to do? We have to change the education, which I took charge of. We did what it took in training the teachers, to training by myself, to getting, people from Nugegoda, which I am very grateful for, who came all the way to help us. And then we took the great step of having sports practices every day at 5 o'clock in the morning. So you can imagine at 5 o'clock what the situation is at Nuwara, right? So we used to go, myself, Mr. Samir, and there was one person, Mr. Samir, or one coach, one or two coaches, not a big deal. So we used to go every day in the ground, rain, no rain, mewa apita adala naha. Whatever it is, we used to go in the morning and we used to train. Little by little, 20 children, 30 children. The school is already existing school, had about 300 children in it. Little by little, more than 200, 150 to 200 children are at the ground every single day. And this is, I believe most of you would have watched this movie, Invictus. Most of us have experienced, some of us have experienced the 1996 World Cup and how it brought people, irrespective of caste, creed and religion, together. As in the movie Invictus, how South Africa, the blacks and the whites were brought together through rugby, right? In the same way, automatically, by some, magical something that was within all of us, this school was brought into one place, and little by little, the Lyceum uniforms came up one by one. Everybody converting. This is not something heroic. But this is with little what we did, with nothing. Basically nothing what we did. We just had the ability, we just had a bus, which we drove, myself and Mr. Kushan. And sometimes on some occasions, Mr. Samir was later embarked on this, where we used to take the children back and forth. And there was this, I remember, because these were tough times, not like what we do today. Today, doing something is not a very big deal. There was this inter-Lyceum athletics meet. Those days, Lyceum Battala was, at that point in time, it had come up to the top level at the international school level, not at a government level, but at the international school level, where it had already won the ISAC meet one time or two times. And we had this inter-Lyceum athletics meet at that point in time, where Nuwara was not allowed to take part in, of course, the main ISAC meet or any other international meet. And we took part in this inter-Lyceum athletics meet. And I remember that one time, in the first time itself, these children were so resilient that they beat Lyceum Panadur in the first time, and they were 2 points behind Lyceum Nugegoda. So it was that type of operation, and this is the commitment, and this is the journey that these people have shared in this time. So what I want to tell you, of course, there are many other very good leaders that are here, that have come up, that have done a lot. This is not to ignore what you have done. All of you are very well celebrated. You have been celebrated. But this is the story. And we have come a very long way. When I was in Nuwara, I would like to tell you a little bit about Mr. Harsha as well. Mr. Rajiv was also there when in my initial stage at Nugegoda. I will tell you about him as well, though he is not a representative of LGH. In my time at Nuwara, there was a massive construction feat. It was something out of this world. Because I remember the excavator getting stuck in the mud. So you know what an excavator is? It has chains on it. And then there is an arm. When you get stuck, you can put that arm, and because we also used to work on the excavator, you can put the arm and you can pull yourself out. So there is no place to put your arm and pull yourself out as well, because this is the environment that Nuwara was. So that is when Mr. Harsha came, and when we were making this building, he had to, long story short, it was far more dramatic than this. So he came to build this retaining wall. Mr. Harsha was a driver. Then Harsha around 20 years ago, he joined Lyceum as a driver. Can you believe this? Now he's a GM, but he joined as a driver 20 years ago. He worked with me for a short period of time, and when I was going abroad, I told my father, this guy is a good driver. Let's keep him. So why don't you use him? He will be very loyal to you. So this guy, he went with my father, who he has built all these buildings. He learned by going with my father. He mastered the art of construction. So that is how, after that, my father, when he acquired this land in Kurunegala, he landed him over there. And this is how Mr. Harsha grew one by one, step by step. Now he has many engineers working for him, right? All these guys got qualified along the way. But in short, this is the story. Honesty, loyalty, That is what brought them to where they are. I remember how, when it came to sport, how Mr. Samir and the team, we got a few good coaches after we were, really getting up there. And how they used to wake up at 4 o'clock when the practice is 5 o'clock and make soup for the children every day. Mehema tamai kare. Hima karla tamai metanta aave. Not through qualifications or doctorates or, professorships. Actually vada karla. Actually working hard. One by one. I have to tell you, people did believe in us. Not like the environment that you have. We believe in all of you. Don't we? What do you think? All of you are encouraged to become CEOs, to reach the pinnacle of your lives, professionally and personally. But no one believed in us. Isn't it, Mr. Samir? Kawuda api mehema karai kiyala hituwe? Nobody believed in us. Especially not in them. People had some faith that I would do something and I would mess it up. Varadinakam balagana hitiya. But I had some education, but my people had no education. What are these qualifications? Look at where we are now. Isn't it? Nobody believed in us. But yet people told us. I remember, I have to tell you, we have Mr. Lal Senaratna and Mr. Lalit Silva here as well. We are recognizing them today as well. People told us when it came to, 𝐶𝐾𝐂 is a very small event to us. I have to tell you that when it comes to, most of you are from a diverse array of organizations. But we have been in education all our lives so far. This is that part of the story. In the other arenas, we are yet to write the story. That is up to you. You do whatever you want when it comes to that. But when it came to certain things, people very directly, certain people, certain groups said, "Ogalanta puluwan da me wage deyak karanna. Oka atalla දාන්න. ඔයාලන්ට පුළුවන් ද ක්‍රිකට් ගහන්න? national division level එකේ පුළුවන් ද ඔයාලන්ට ක්‍රිකට් ගහන්න? Can you all win an all island athletics meet? No. It's not possible. But we took on these challenges. And we proved all of these things wrong. Right? Winning, we are playing Division 1 cricket at Lyceum. We'll talk about all these things a bit later. We are, I'm pretty sure very soon we will win the championships as well with all these top schools. All due respect to those. When it came to athletics, who would have ever thought that we would win the all-island athletics meet 2 years consecutively, one after the other? This is where we are. Right? This is where we are. But that is due to these people. Right? When you see these people, always remember. Right? From staying early morning till late night to looking after children, more than their very parents. Right? That is what some of these principals have done. Right? Not all, but some. More than their parents. Has given all of you the privilege to be where you are now. Alright? This is what I want you to understand. So, we were in Nuwara, then we were sent to Anuradhapura. All of us, we went together. Next was Ratnapura, which was a tricky situation at that point in time. And at that time, we were doing all these field trips. Myself, Mr. Rajiv, that's when Mr. Rajiv came into the picture in a sort of very strong way. He was there in Nugegoda, laying low. And we went and took over Ratnapura. It had around 1,000 students, is it? Around 900 students. So just to tell you, not show off because you should know about who these people are. All right? That's why I'm telling you these things. We don't need to be celebrated or whatever because we are teachers. Right? Children respect us. Parents have appreciated us. Nobody needs to celebrate us. But as you work in all these organizations, you must know why you are here, how you came here. So in Nuwara Eliya, we had 300 students. By the time we left, we had almost 1,000 students. And it's going on reasonably well. When we went to Ratnapura, it had around 900 students. I was quite busy at that time. Kurunagala coming up. There was the Bekkegama school construction going on. Very much now I am involved in this entire thing. You know, it was tough at that point in time. And, so we went to Ratnapura. It was a very turbulent environment, Mr. Rajiv. Isn't it? Have you been by Same with Mr. Rajiv. You may see him as a very, silent, timid man, but right? Going to outside Colombo, going to a Gama and doing these things is not easy. You have to understand that. Those of you who have not experienced this, you should know going out of your comfort zone into a village and executing something as prominent as a school, where there are other prominent schools as well. Whether the entire system, the governmental system around you is absolutely politicized, is no easy feat. So he went there. We did what we have to do. Good, bad, but not bad as in, taking the hard decisions. ඒවා තමයි බෑඩ් කියන්නේ. හරි දේ කරලා පෙලක් අයට හොඳ වුණ නැති වුණා මේක බෑඩ් වෙනවා. So we did what we had to do, and now that school, we had got district best results. He's a man who developed the school to that level. He walked out of it and also took his achievement as the first ever CEO of Lyceum International Schools, which he handed over a couple of years back because he likes to be a principal more than anything. So thereafter, Kurunagala, all of you know what this school Kurunagala is, where Mr. Harsha is very instrumental in building that school as well. And then Mr. Kushan, Mr. Samir, they were there throughout. Mr. Lal Senaratna and Mr. Lalit Silva, both were instrumental in the formation of Lyceum Kurunagala. You know what a great school that it is, led by Mr. Basnaik. And so on, and Vattala. And you know how far Lyceum Vattala has come in its sports from what it was. It was already good. But now, it is at the very pinnacle. And it is due to these people. I would like to speak about Mr. Salia. Mr. Salia also joined us probably in 2016 or 16 as a sub-warden for Lyceum Nugegura. Danagan hitiyada? Did you all know? I don't think most of you knew. He joined as sub-warden. We didn't have all these structures that Mr. Omar, we'll talk about him a bit later. So we didn't have all these diagrams and structures back then. So Mr. Salia was a sub-warden. Sub-warden means, so basically you occupy any position, you do anything and everything. That was how it was. Alright, there was no very clear defined job role that you do at that point in time. You take it as it comes and you do whatever it takes. So then came the rise of operations management at Lyceum Nugegod. We had already started operations management. Myself, Mr. Kushan was an operations manager, general coordinator to deputy operations manager to operations manager, where he finally became the director of operations as well at a certain point in time after Kurunagala. So, we started operations management, deputy operations manager, Mr. Salia. Right? And then, as you know, NCG Express was getting a little out of hand. At a certain point in time, we were growing, and I was struggling, managing that with all my other work. So that is when I gave this responsibility to Mr. Salia, and then I saw his true capabilities of how we can manage, organize, his accounting abilities. The financial side, you didn't want to be a finance person, isn't it, Mr. Salia? You wanted to be in the school and do something school-related at that point in time. But things changed, you know. That is when I realized this man's potential and his loyalty, trustworthiness. Do you understand how difficult it is to find loyal people now? Huh? Trustworthiness. These are very difficult. Honorable people, very difficult to find. If you are honorable, loyal, trustworthy, and smart all at the same time, that is a very, it's a very rare combination. Right? So if you are honest and all of that, all in one, you can be truly proud of yourself, especially in our country. So we have to recognize him for his resilience, especially through this organizational transformation where we created all these subsidiaries and these SBUs, sectors, and all of that. We have to recognize his resilience throughout this entire time. And loyalty shown, so we appreciate you, Mr. Salia, for her hard work and, creating other leaders as well. That is the next thing. Sometimes leaders are afraid to build a second layer, isn't it? Huh? We are very happy, the people here, all of them. Every single person, that is here, we are very happy to recruit people who know more than us. We don't want people who know less than us. We want people who know more than us, who can tell us something. When we see that people know less than us in a particular subject, which is his or her area of profession, it's very disheartening. Right? So, the ability to do that is also there in our people. This is for you to understand as well. We have come to we have created land of opportunity. It doesn't matter your qualification now. It's irrelevant actually. Degree it is your true ability. And your loyalty, honesty, these are very important, more than all these other things. And ability to do the duty. So you try to recognize them for that. And there, of course, is Mr. Omar, who was very instrumental. How can I put this? There are, people have thoughts and dreams and a vision and all of that. But you cannot put it into a diagram or to words, or you cannot put it onto paper. You don't know how to get about it. But when you have a conversation with this dedicated man, dedicated and hardworking, that is how I would like to, I would say a bit, very, an intellect as well, eccentric at times, to be frank. However, he manages to put it down onto paper with great arguments and discussions. Somehow we arrive at a conclusion. So all these org charts, organizational structures, all these maps, breakdown of work, whatever you see has come up from Mr. Omar. So we would like to recognize him as well. So my dear team, I have told you in a nutshell, about the people that we are celebrating today. But I want you to know that, we have done something and we are content. But what we want is to create a ecosystem, a work environment, which gives the opportunity for those who deserve it, not for those who don't deserve it, for those who actually work hard, who have the right values, who are honest, loyal, who cannot survive in the outside environment, to be in this organization, show their true colors, for us to have that environment where we can cultivate young people, It doesn't have to be young or old, whatever it is. If you have a talent, that we are able to cultivate you to reach your true potential, for us as leaders to be able to explore yourselves beyond even what you ever knew that existed within you. This is what all this is about. All these organizations, these wide opportunities. That's why we have the first ever appointment today. So all of you also in your own unique companies can also be appointed your first ever, into your leadership position. To create an ecosystem where Lyceum students will also come and join. We have so many students past students from Lyceum who are working within us. So many. And their lives can be, very successful. We like to see that. We like to see all of you being successful. We like to see all of you drive nice cars, fulfill all of your dreams, go on vacations, locally, internationally. We like to see that. We are not skeptical of those things. We don't want, we are not negative of those things. But we want you to do that in the right way and give through the right opportunities by working hard. That is why we have, none of this was possible before. I have to tell you that every time there was some financial restriction, restricting us from paying the best to the people. But now we are getting there. We are not there at the top yet, but we are getting there. As you know, we have a great vision in our organization that we will, this is not, I don't want to say that this is my vision. This is what all of us are going to work together after fulfilling our personal goals, all right? That is whatever you need to achieve, you achieve first. Thereafter, we will contribute into education and into our country and to the world thereafter. So let us, move forward. We have this idea of, having this, I think I have told you this before. Those of you who were there last year, you all know this, where we want to have this free school, an orphanage and a school, free of charge, right? That will be our contribution. We will run it through all our profits. That is our purpose. All of you are part of that purpose. We have done something in changing the lives of students. The messages we get, even to shut down tomorrow, it's more than enough. But I want you to also have that awesome feeling of helping others and serving others and watching. That's a blessing too. If you can look at another person succeed, if you can see and be happy looking at that person. Some people can't do that. When they see another person thriving and celebrating, you cannot handle it. That is due to some sin. But let us overcome these things. If you are having those things, as a as an ecosystem, as one source of energy, all of us contributing together, let us overcome these things. Let us be good people. Let us celebrate each other. Let us respect one another. Let us not tell tales about one another. Let us empower one another. That is the purpose of this organization. To have a wonderful workplace, which is even better than your home. When you come here, you are accepted, you are recognized, you are motivated, you are encouraged. That is what we expect from Lyceum Global Holdings. Thank you very much.